What's up? This is part 2 of my series of how to become an author, a writer, a great, a goat status, a one of one. I am the one that don't need a gun to get respect upon the street. Under the sun, the bastard son will pop the Glock to feed himself and family. My enemies, your enemies, you get it. Yeah, this is a deep dive into the subject because while my first video addressed a couple of things or the basics of how to become a writer, it didn't really address everything. It can't. It was a 30-minute lecture. You know what I mean? It takes a while. I know. Again, hard work. There's no such thing as like a shortcut when it comes to this writing shit. I wish there was. I truly wish there was like a unique way to kind of skip over all the bullshit and just become a writer from the get-go, get all the shit that you want to accomplish from it. But like everything in life, nothing comes easy, and this is not an exception. So yeah, but I promise you, I'll do my best to keep it enjoyable, to give you good perspectives, so you could not only just understand it, but also enjoy it. Because like I said, nobody really dreams becoming like a writer. No, it's a passion, something beautiful, and you get into it because you love it, and you're able to create, you're able to shape, you're able to do just a lot of wonderful stuff. So yeah, I'll do my best. Let's go. Now, like always, I'm gonna be playing my video games. Don't trip, don't trip. This is just to help me to kind of focus, you know? And I enjoy playing video games. And we're playing an amazing game too, Control. If you haven't played it, check it out. It's fucking amazing. It's also relevant to the story that we are gonna shape in this conversation, which is art form in all its shape and size and beauty. Art is such a beautiful fucking thing because it's nonstop. There is no cutoff point. It dives into everything. And because of that, it takes time. But when you appreciate it, you appreciate it. Okay, in my previous lecture, I said that there's two sides to writing. You have one, perspective, learn how to write from the perspective. And number two is the world building. And number three, I said it's the combination of those two elements together in the elevation of both of them at the same time. And talk about each one individually because I gave you an overarching idea. I didn't give you everything. I just gave you like the tips of the pencils. You know what I mean? Not the whole thing. So we are going to dive into perspective, the beginner level, the middle, and the excellent. Each one, how to build them, how to focus on them, and how to make them better than what they used to be. Cool? Let's do this. So what is the beginner level? Yeah, what is the beginner level? Like I said in my previous video, you have to write from the perspective that you know the best. Learn from your perspective. If you're female, talk about things from your own perspective. If you're male, talk from things from your own perspective. If you're on the spectrum, talk from that perspective. Just whatever you know 100%, talk from that point of view. And understand that you're not lying or making things up. You're just speaking on how you would see it or how you would do it in that point of view. Write about yourself, basically. And put yourself in different circumstances. Think of an idea that is kind of basic. Let's say you went to the store and found out that somebody had an accident. Simple. Just write from that point of view. You don't have to really go crazy or try to do extra stuff. Just write from what you know. How would you react if the store was robbed? You would freak out, right? Which comes to the first hurdle when it comes to writing about yourself. You think to yourself like, oh, okay, so just write from my perspective. It's not difficult. Actually, it's difficult. Even step one is difficult. And there are things that you have to focus on, improve, and get over. Number one, honesty with yourself. You have to be honest. Anybody can say, oh, if the store was being robbed, I would jump over the counter, punch the guy in the face, and just, no, calm your ass down. Break down your ego. I did it before, right? You're not special. You're not special. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. So relax when that comes to that point of view. Just understand that when I ask you, what would you do in that place? I want you to be honest with yourself. Truly, 100% honest with yourself. You would freak out. You would lose your mind. You would think to yourself, God, please let me survive this. When you focus on the reality of the situation that you're trying to write yourself in, that's when you find things to do better. That's when you start to think to yourself, I would honestly think about my children. If you have children, you would say to yourself, you know what? I will think about my future. Like, I haven't lived long enough to die in this weird way. Maybe you would think to yourself like, hey, at that point, honestly, I would consider helping, and be honest with why you don't want to help. I did this video long ago. It's called The Deep Dive into the Psychology of Serial Killers. And in that video, I talked about how ultimately we do things in our life derived from psychology, derived from pleasing ourselves, making ourselves be the hero, the guy that can't do anything wrong. And we do that by making ourselves feel good from points of view like, hey, I wouldn't help that person because they probably don't need it. This is a scam. These are all lies that you tell yourself day to day, and you convince yourself with those lies. Part of becoming a good writer is understanding the psychology of behavior. Again, call back to my old video. Weird shit to focus on as a writer that you feel like, I shouldn't really focus on this stuff. You should. Because imagine your brain is kind of like a gym, right? Each part of your brain is a muscle, and there's a right way to exercise it, and there's a wrong way to exercise it. Most people do it by blunt force trauma. Hit every machine all at once, hoping to adapt, hoping to improve, And the failure rate in that kind of execution is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. You don't know how many people just lose their confidence so quickly because they are approaching it from that point of view, which is ridiculous. Calm the fuck down, dog. Nothing happens overnight. Why do you think you're special? You're not. It takes time. It takes effort. And it can be enjoyable because it is an exercise at the end of the day. And if you do it right, you can find joy in everything you can do. And this is one of the things that honestly you would enjoy. I mean, think of it, okay? You're, for the first time maybe in your life, actually trying to understand yourself in a deeper way than ever before. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to acknowledge yourself as a human being for the first time. Trying to forgive yourself for not being like the most perfect human being ever. Again, you think to yourself like, how does this actually like point to beginner level? It is. That's step one. Because when you write every character in the world as the hero, as the guy who can't be stopped, as this amazing thing that is unstoppable, you get isekai. For those of you who don't know this term, you probably didn't watch anime. Isekai is not a complicated concept. I said before, like, you should steal from that world in the beginning because it's a pre-existent template. You don't have to add too much to it. It's already existence. The concept is simple. You can see it in Korean dramas. You can see it in movies. You can see it in TV shows, anime, everywhere. It's a concept that is constantly being used, but it's cheap. It's the reaction video of the industry. Don't get it twisted. I do reaction video, but it is kind of a cotton candy. It's a shout out to Pluribus. It's cotton candy. It's not harmful, but it doesn't have the complexity. What we're trying to do here is to elevate your work to the point of view of Michelin star. And to become Michelin star, you have to begin at the basics, which is break down your ego, write from a perspective that is honest, and as you get a feel for it and you put yourself in your character in different situations and you acknowledge the honesty of that person, now you move on to level 2, how the character, more than just I react to what happens outside, they have their own agenda. But before I continue to that point of view, I want to pedal back a little bit on the isekai concept. So the isekai concept, what is it about basically? It goes like this. A person dies in the real world, the world we all live in, get transported into a different world, and they live their fantasy life in that world. Whatever they didn't have in their previous life, now they have it 10 times better. If they lacked intelligence, now they're the smartest people. If they were ugly, now they're beautiful. It's an emotional jerking around, you know what I mean? Like, it's a masturbation for your ego. It gives you what you want, but it's cheap, ultimately. It's just cheap. And the templates, there's variation to it. I said, again, steal from that concept, improve upon it a little bit, but move on from it. Don't stick to it. It's dangerous. This is actually in the world build conversation, but I'm just walking you through like the character and how they don't have to really say anything. The character is simple. Whatever they lacked in their worlds, in this new world, they have it. And they don't have to stress about how to maintain it, how to control it, because they're already like the best of the best. It's an emotional jerking. Like, it's not really complex. It's fine. You can enjoy it, but too much of it becomes gooning. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually gooning at this point. And for those of you who don't know what gooning is, good for you, man. Good job. Good job. You survived. And if those of you who pretend that they don't know, weirdo. I said, I'm trying to keep it light. It's a big subject. Back to the characters. Now, you've basically learned how to write from the perspective of one character, two characters. Now you've gotten to the point where now you know how your character would react in any situation you want, or to say it better, how you would react, because you're writing from the thing that you know best. Now you have to shape something new. I know. I'm going to grab you by the bush. It's okay. It's okay. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's going to be fine. I know your perfectionist ass is just thinking, no, it has to be perfect. Me? Give out slop? Are you crazy? No, of course not. I only produce the best of the best because I am the best. I am God's gift to this earth. My ego. You see the ego that we have to deal with every time? Every fucking time. Your ego is crazy. Your ego is fucking crazy, dog. It will destroy you. Just try. You'll fail in the beginning. You'll pick yourself up and you'll continue. Stop being a bitch. You got this. Now that you've learned how to write from that perspective, now we get to intermediate, the middle. This is where it's kind of, okay, you've done the warm-ups, you feel the pain of the gym, and the muscles now have cooled down. Now you can rep 40, you know, for my gym rats who know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, you've done the like 20K on the bench, and now like the muscle is fatigued, it's done, but now you're like good. Now you can continue. Now you can rep even bigger without being winded. We get to the point of creating the different character. How to create a different character. One, by now I'm assuming it's been like a couple of months, maybe a year or two, depending. People like learn at their own pace. Some people learn from like a couple of days, a weekend, you know, like they hammer it instantly. Don't let their progress be an indication of you doing well or not doing well. Calm down. People just move at their own fucking speed. It's okay. It's chill. God, like I said before, there's challenges in everything that you do. The first one was your ego. This one is your preconditioned concept of what I should write about, who they should be, what's their race, what's their gender, what's their sexuality. I'm here to tell you all of that stuff is cosmetic. It's cosmetic. If you want to become a shit writer, and I'm going to be harsh here, if you want to become a shit writer, focus on those two things: your gender, your ethnicity, all of that stuff. I'm not saying like it's not important. Calm down. I'm not saying like it's not important, but not at your level, because you can't do it well. You're just going to pick a gender and you are just going to write from the most basic perspective ever, and it's going to come out as cringy. I'll give you an example of what I mean by bad writing when it comes from that point of view or that perspective, because I know what you're thinking, like, how is that not important? How is that like bad writing? I will show you an example. Calm down. Okay, after the loss of my child, the depth of the pain and hatred that I felt was tremendous. I couldn't bear it. This kind of pain is undescribable, and only a few people can feel it. As a man, no one can feel like this. You felt it, right? You felt how it was barged in there for no goddamn reason, excluded that emotion from an entire gender, and at the same time created this shift between them and us. That's shit writing. When you separate your audience based on cosmetic, there are things that are unique to males, there are things that are unique to female, and there are a sea of uniqueness when it comes to sexuality, gender, ethnicity, all of that stuff. It's a sea, but you're a beginner, dog. You're not there. You don't know how to do it well. And if you do it right now, you are gonna fuck up a lot. Fuck up is okay. Extreme fuck ups is not. Especially when you can fuck up your entire career from the beginning, because you will be honed in into the guy who writes from that perspective or the girl who writes from that perspective. And now you just don't have depth. Like I said, there's levels to this shit. You can do the basics. You can do the easy part. Nobody is stopping you. And the sea of averageness in this world just doesn't stop. You could be one of them, and it's fine. It's 100% fine, because there's no shame in the game. However, this is for elevating your skills. So part of it is shedding your fucking ego. Again, you see the theme, right? Like, you see where I'm going with this. It's 90% just trying to tear down your ego, because you're just way too much hyped under your own fucking ego. We gotta break it down. We gotta think. You gotta understand that you're not special. And some emotions are universal. And no matter how fucked up your childhood is, other people had fucked up childhood. It doesn't necessarily mean like they should behave in this way or that way. It's just how life is. So, how to write from a neutral perspective. This is the thing that you are trying to learn in this section of intermediate. We learn how to shed your own ego and not think of yourself like this god amongst men. And now we are learning how to basically see the averageness of your existence. It's harsh, I know, but it is truthful. You have to understand that there are universal emotions that go beyond just gender, ethnicity, race, all of that stuff. And you have to recognize what is important and what's not. In your story, whenever you write a character, try to be as neutral as possible. See it from their perspective at the beginning. I'm not saying like every character that you create has to be like this formless creature that doesn't have a sex or gender. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like learn the basics. Create something brand new and emphasize the emotion rather than the actual gender. That way you can lead a better perspective. That way you can see how things improve in one direction or another. So how to do that? Well, focus on attributes rather than anything else. So what is your character? Is he smart? I say he. It could be he or she. I'm just saying like, is he smart? Is he dumb? Is he jealous? Is he angry? Is he short-tempered? Or is he mysterious? Attributes, not gender. After you find an attribute that you are trying to basically run the story through, we begin with a predicament you are trying to make. Again, let's focus on the first example, which is a robbery at grocery store or 7-Eleven or whatever. It's a robbery. Now, as your character, what kind of reaction would you want? You want him to snap, maybe, or start shooting people or diffuse the situation. Now the attribute that you want to be present becomes the focal point of his character. The world itself shapes the situation. The situation is enhanced by the characters. I'm not going to focus too much on the world building, like I said in this video. It's just mainly going to be focused on the character development. So, your character is, let's say, someone who's struggling with madness. Let's say he is struggling with being at rock bottom, and there is this weird mirror between him and the guy who's robbing the store. Maybe they both wanted to rob the store, but he's the one who did it. And now this guy who is just a pedestrian, he sees himself as, that literally could have been me yesterday if I didn't find like that $50. You know what I mean? It's the perspective and the characteristics that you write for the character that help you create a dialogue that doesn't feel forced. It feels natural because you're seeing it from their point of view, which is the difficult part. You're seeing it from their point of view and their emotional point of view. The emotional point of view comes in the third tier, which is the top fucking, basically the best of the best. Not a lot of people really nail that shit. and it's for a reason. It's not for like, oh, it's not that difficult. It's difficult, bro. It's very fucking difficult. To break it down, basically, just so we can understand how we developed, how we reached this point. We said the character in the beginning, when you write like shit, he's gonna be like the superhero type. You know, he's gonna knock off everything. It's an emotional jerking around, basically. It's fulfilling this fantasy of being the guy, right? And then we get to what? A more realistic approach to it. That's part 2. You get to a point where, okay, I wouldn't do that. I would actually just hide and just think about something that I was thinking about during that day. Then we get to the second part, which is the brand new character with its own agenda. That you want the agenda itself to push the plot forward, not the characteristics, not the cosmetics, the personality. That is what is going to drive the story forward. So the progression that you are seeing here in these character development, it's what is going to tie people closer to the character you create. The better you become at it, there's this weird paradox that happens. The better you become at it, the simpler you can approach it from. I'll give you a best example for this kind of concept. One Piece. If you know One Piece, if you have any kind of concept of One Piece is one of the greatest written pieces of all time. Just top of the top. It talks about heavy topics, like really fucking heavy, emotionally, spiritually, society-wise. Every topic you can think about comes from a show about a guy who has the powers of rubber. That's skill. That's the skill that we are trying to reach. So at the beginning, you are going to be simplistic. Then you are learning the basics of complicated. And if you are good at it, afterwards you move on to, again, simplistic, but in a better way. In a way that you don't have to spoon feed every single thing to your audience. Your audience get it from just one glimpse. That's the thing that we are trying to hit. We're not trying to hit simplistic. We're not trying to hit emotional jerking around, basically. Like, hey, you feel down about yourself? How about this anime that talks about a guy who felt down about himself and now he has the fucking world on his string? Like, that's porn, bro. That's just another form of pornography. There's no emotional depth to it whatsoever. It's just fulfilling a fantasy that you lack, and that's not good. I said it before, when people lose the complexity, they lose so much, because we as a species, as human beings, we have that power. We have that depth of seeing so much, but we downplay ourselves so much that we think like nobody will get it. They will get it, bro. They will get it. Believe me, they will get it. A large number will. But the problem is a lot of you quit in the beginning because, again, you're blunt forcing the fuck out of everything. Focus on the exercises one by one, step by step. As you progress, you will start seeing yourself thinking about things not from I want the character to do this to a point where you just say stuff like I want the character to feel this. And you write until you achieve that feeling. That's when you get to the GOAT status. Now, this is the segment where I talk about the GOAT status. Again, this is not for the weak. I always leave it to the end. I never talk about it from the beginning because I want people to kind of understand that it takes a certain level of dedication. Most people will not hit. I can show you the logistics of it. I'm not even gonna like talk about it from the point of view of like, I believe in you. Fuck belief, bro. I can show you the numbers. 90% of people don't stick around to the end. 90% of people don't watch part 2. 90% of people don't continuously just hound shit until they reach what the fuck they want. You're one of them, dog. Be proud of that. Not a lot of people do that shit, and that's what separates you from them. It's the dedication. It's the focusing on shit that shouldn't be focused upon just for that little 10.9% better. Just that little thing is what makes you the best. Now, your exercises still exist. Now you've finished part 1, 2, now to the final exercise, which is the emotional. This is where you study psychology. You have to understand the emotional intelligence of people and how their circumstances shape who they are and how their psychology shapes their circumstances. And from there, you can understand how they behave, how they adapt, how they talk to themselves, what drives them to get to the point that they are at right now. Because if you're emotionally intelligent and if you're good at reading situations and just existing in this world and perceiving everything around you, you would understand that there's no such thing as a bad guy, truly, just a fucked up situation. And this is where a lot of people will struggle, is actually forgiving someone that they blindly fucking hate. Valid. Don't get it twisted. It's not like they're angels. No. If you're a serial killer, fuck you at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But you have to understand it from their point of view so you can write from their point of view, so you can understand how they got to that, like, logic. Because no one thinks to themselves, I'm doing the wrong thing. No one. And if they think to themselves like that, they're not doing the wrong thing. They just feel guilty. And that's a whole different thing. But when people kill and dismember, 90% of them think, I'm him. I'm doing God's work. That level of psychosis is just insane, and you have to understand it. You have to actually comprehend it fully so you can write from that perspective. Because most of them don't think they're the bad guy. They think they're the good guy. So write from a good guy point of view. And once you see it from that angle, where they're not bad, you can elevate your writing to a degree that is unbelievable. You're truly one of one at this point. Because you're not just settling. You're enhancing. You're improving. You're doing things that most people will not fucking do. You're him, bro. You're him. Pat yourself on the fucking back, dog. You're one of one. Honestly, one of one. But like I said, this is gonna take a while. Control your fucking ego. That shit will fuck with you. It will stop you from improving and it will not get you far in life. Squash that shit. You're a maggot. You hear me? You're a fucking maggot. Keep telling yourself that. Self-hate. Come on, I'm telling you how to become a writer. I'm not telling you how to become like the most zen person in the world. Honestly, most writers are miserable. Most. It shouldn't be that way, but it's part of the fucking process, sadly. Hopefully we can learn it in a better way, but honestly, nah, I haven't seen a successful writer who was happy. Honestly, most of them are miserable. Most of them. Becoming a writer is just becoming a genius to some degree. You have to be an expert. You have to be a fucking genius when it comes to human behavior. You have to predict how they would work, what would they do? Remember when I said like you would have to learn about history? Yeah, you would have to learn a lot of shit. And when you learn a lot of shit, you become miserable. So I said it before. This is not worth it. This is not worth it. Like I'm telling you right now. I'm also like trying to be like a big bro and help you. Dog, it's not worth it. It's not. You can make money in a lot of ways. It's honorable. It's cool. It's fun. You get laid. If that's your fucking like thing, like you'll get laid. Don't worry about it. Just write about vampires or sex or whatever. Like you will find a way to kind of make money and still exist in this world happy. And in a way kind of be zen. That's the good option. What I'm offering you here in this segment is self-destructive as fuck. It's not going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form. However, you will be solidified in this fucking world as being one of the one, as an original, as the guy who didn't just, or the girl, or whomever, who didn't just settle for okay, who really couldn't give a fuck about the numbers, couldn't give a fuck about how they're perceived and all that stuff. No, they just want to become great. Now, it's dangerous, don't get me wrong, because sometimes you will have that attitude, but at the same time, you're garbage. You know what I mean? Like, you would actually think you're him. You're not. You're not. Again, the ego will fuck you up. Watch out for the ego. Watch out for the fucking ego. It will fuck you up. It will convince you of shit that you are just simply not. You're just not, bro. But as long as you improve, as long as you exercise, as long as you hone your fucking skill, you can get to the point where you don't even have to say it. People just know it. You don't have to convince yourself of being the great because everyone acknowledges that you're the great. So, like always, it was fun. So yeah, that's the end of this lecture. I will see you next time. And exercise. Don't skip a day. Don't skip a day. Have fun. So yeah, fuck off and start writing. And also, stop gooning, bro. Stop. 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 Doses.